Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 25 of the bill be amended as it appears in today's order paper. The justification is that this is a constitutional requirement and the courts have made constitutional interpretation to this effect, where, officers of organizations have to be competitively sourced. So there is also a grammatical omission that is being corrected as well.
All right, I propose the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Sankok.
I think, Chair, the other chair who is around here, she's very beautiful in green, she's actually becoming so brief to an extent that we are not even understanding what is the import of this word. Because if it is competitively recruitment, it should not be an amendment, it should have been in the original bill. So what made it been left out?
Chair.
Madam Chair, and to answer my honorable colleague here, the clause 25 is providing for recruitment of the board members and the chief executive. And you see, it had only omitted the issue of competitive sourcing. Yeah, so that's what we are seeking clarity on. Thank you.
Honorable Okello.
Madam Chair, again, on MDS and other government agencies, in terms of recruitment, there is a mwongozo, which is a document to be adopted by these agencies while doing recruitment. And competitive is a word that clearly appears there. So it could have been an inadvertent omission, which has since been corrected here, Madam Speaker.
All right, I'll go on to put the question, which is that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I'll go on to chair. Are you negating the amendment? That must be a word error. Let us put the global question, which is that clause 25 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 26 and 27.
I propose the question that clauses 26 and 27 be part of the bill. And there being no amendment, I put the question that clauses 26 and 27 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
I propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 28 of the bill be amended as it appears in today's order paper. Again, just like the clause 25, this one is specifically on the CEO, that the CEO must be competitively recruited in line with the provisions of the Constitution. And also it has a further amendment to provide for the qualification of the CEO.
I propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. I'll say it again. I propose the question that clause 28 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Sankok.
Surely, I don't know and I don't seem to understand the import of replacing the advanced relevant degree with a relevant postgraduate degree. Why should it be a postgraduate degree? I think in most state corporations, according to Mwongozo, a degree is enough. Postgraduate degrees are only added advantages. And if you are so much educated, you can as well go and lecture in the university. But these guys can just do what is done, because most state corporations are like that. I've been one of the state corporation as a chair, so I know the qualification of such officers.
Honorable Okello.
Madam Speaker, it only buttresses the relevance of the same thing. It is semantics. When you talk about advanced relevant degree, it only means that it has been upped. It is the first degree, yes, but on this particular case, to make it more competitive, we are asking for a postgraduate degree. And it's just about semantics. You can choose to use the first word or adopt the second word. It simply means the same thing. But for purposes of clearer understanding by the Kenyan populace, we are adopting the postgraduate degree. Thank you.
I will go on to put the question, which is that Clause 28 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the global question that Clause 28 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42.
I propose a question that the listed clauses be part of the bill. And there being no amendment, I will put the question that the clauses listed be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses. New clause 2A.
I call upon the mover to move second reading of the new clause 2A.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2A be read a second time. The new clause 2A be read a second time.
I propose a question that the new clause 2A be now read a second time. I go on to put a question that new clause 2A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I go on to propose the question that new clause 2A be part of the bill. And I'll go on to put the question that new clause 2A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 2B.
I call upon the mover to move second reading of the new clause 2B.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the new clause 2B be read a second time. The original bill did not provide for the scope of application of the Act in terms of the government entities and persons who will be involved in domestic trade, especially.
I propose a question that new clause 2B be now read a second time.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Sankok.
I support this one. It's very important that government entities and even persons who are importing or exporting, because Chair, as a country, we are really deficit in terms of what we export. We import almost everything. So if we have this leeway of involving this person not only in local businesses, although they are in counties, but also international business. We can breed traders from the local area. Thank you. I support.
I will go on to put a question that new clause 2B be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I go on to propose the question that new clause 2B be part of the bill. And I'll go on to put the question that new clause 2B be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 2C.
I call upon the mover to move second reading of the new clause 2C. Chair.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2C be read a second time. And the clause 2C is providing a new clause that is providing the principles of the bill. In trade, there are issues to do with fair trade and, just the governance, the governing principles relating to operations of trade. So that's why the new clause is being inserted. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 2C be now read a second time. I'll go on. Yes, Honorable Okello.
I thank you, Chair. This is a very, very important aspect of this bill because, firstly, it will be user-friendly, and that is why we are putting emphasis on this. It will be simple to use so that even those who are not as endowed with computer skills are able to just log in, put the necessary documents, and a transaction occurs without necessarily bringing in a lot of confusion into issues of this computer system that is generated for trade. And I thank you.
I put the question, which is that new clause 2C be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I go on to propose a question that new clause 2C be part of the bill. I'll go on to put the question that new clause 2C be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 25A.
I call upon the mover to move second reading of the new clause 25A.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 25A be part of the bill. Again, the justification for this is, remember we had the bill, clause 25, the main clause 25 is providing for how board members will come to office, the CEO and board members. This one is on how they can leave office, either through resignation, in case somebody is removed from office, through legal means, or if a person is, of course, past this on. Thank you.
I propose a question, which is that new clause 25A be now read a second time. Honorable Sankok.
Chair, even though I'm not endowed with English like my brother here, Jared Okello, but I will try, Ndajikakamua. This one is a bit superficial. You see like 25A, but go to sub article C or part C. A member of the board can be removed from the office. A is when he resigned, that is okay. of course, when he dies. I don't see maybe when they are incapacitated. But C is so superficial that is otherwise removed from office. Is it physical removal, carrying the guy outside the office, or what is it? You know, we have to be a bit, you know, we are in a house of rules, and you have to be, you know, the majority leader is saying it's a standard word, but at least it can be used if otherwise legally removed from office. You know, removal only like that. But what about in case of incapacitation? We left it out, which I think also in most state corporations they are always there.
Chair.
Honorable Okello.
I thank you, Chair. My friend can sometimes be a little funny. But again, Article 260 of our Constitution has delineated who qualifies to become a state officer or a public officer. And we are guided by Chapter 6 of our Constitution on leadership and integrity. At any time you usurp Leadership and Integrity Act, then you can be removed from office, up to and including bankruptcy. So it is already clear. So removal, as it appears in subsection C, emanates from Chapter 6 of our Constitution, Madam Speaker. And I thank you.
I go on to put the question that new clause 25A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I propose the question that new clause 25A be part of the bill. I'll go on to put the question that new clause 25A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedule.
I propose a question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. I go on to put the question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose a question that clause 2 be part of the bill. And there being no amendment, I go on to put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose a question that the title be the title of the bill. I go on to put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There being no amendment, I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And for purposes of record, the Honorable Mwaniki, you are the Vice Chair of the Committee on Trade. And so, and for purposes of the committee, you are actually chairing the moving of the bill. So don't go and overthrow the chair. It's just for purposes of the business of this afternoon. I will now call upon the mover to move reporting.
Thank you. Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments. And may I also take this opportunity to thank the members who stuck, and especially you, Chair, for at some point I didn't expect that we would get there. But here we are, and I think we owe it to ourselves to say thank you to one another for seeing this bill the way we have done today.
At times such as this, you also keep the faith. That you keep the faith that things will happen. I will go on to put the question for reporting, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I will now call upon the chairperson to report to the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I call upon the mover to move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, and I also request the Honorable Ruth Mwaniki to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Mwaniki.
Madam Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable members, I propose a question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable Sanko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This is a very important bill, and I thank the committee led by the chair today is Ruth Mwaniki, who is an expert in trade, because she have really taken us through the Committee of the Whole House, and we have understood, and the amendments are okay. Honorable Speaker, the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, I think will come and solve a lot of issues that we are facing today as a country, because we had set aside some fund for fuel, to subsidize fuel. But I think because of red tape, and this one will reduce this red tape, some people are still sleeping on their jobs. That is why Kenyans are still queuing for fuel, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and I think as we improve on this issue of a single window system, Honorable Speaker, will attract a lot of investors, and that means our economy will grow, Honorable Speaker, so that we can get out of the quagmire that we are facing now. Honorable Speaker, because today, generally, the cost of living has skyrocketed. And especially all liquid commodities are missing. Petroleum is not available in our pumps. Cooking oil prices are too high, milk is missing in supermarket shelves, even water is not available. The only liquid that is available currently in Kenya is alcohol, served at the right price and right temperature for obvious reasons. Honorable Speaker, I think with this, we will improve in our services and will be able to do more business and attract more investors and improve the economy of our country. I support.
Honorable Okello.
Madam Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity. I also want to thank my committee for banning the midnight oil together with its secretariat and the leadership of this House, headed by the majority and minority leaders, for taking us through this. And Honorable Speaker, if there is anything that we have learned in the recent past, is that with Corona, we do not necessarily have to be physically present anywhere to do any transaction. And therefore, this bill is going to address those gaps that have existed for way too long, that a transaction can be completed electronically without necessarily having to travel. Honorable Speaker, another good thing with this is that it eliminates brokers who have perfected the art of reaping where they never sowed. And therefore, once you shall have logged all the necessary documents with KenTrade and other partners into this, then you don't necessarily have to know somebody for a business transaction to be completed. And therefore, this is an important milestone in the world of business, making things very easy. And at the touch of a button, somebody will be able to get what is needed in the market. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kabinga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would also like to support this bill. It's the right direction for our country. It places our country on top of others that have advanced in technology and ensuring that we are first and not second when it comes to technology, Honorable Speaker. And as my colleague did allude to, this is where the world is going. We don't need to be there to transact. We can be here to transact, and that is what is important for us, and I think is a lesson learned more so during the Corona times. I was really impressed during the discussions, Honorable Speaker, to realize that my colleague, Honorable Sankok, is really updating himself on technology based on the discussions, and I am hoping that he will use the same knowledge that he seemed to have acquired to understand the reason why we would have shortage of oil in the world, not Kenya. I am hoping too that he will be able to use the same knowledge to understand why the economy would not be as expected and why commodities would go up, more so as he updates himself with what is happening in the entire world, and especially in the war that affects major supplies in the world, especially in Russia, Honorable Speaker, so that when he goes out there, he'll be able to really explain to his colleagues out there. Honorable Speaker, I really support this bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Shaban Naomi.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Nataka kuunga mkono wenzangu ya kwamba wakati huu kila kitu ulimwengu mzima inafanywa kupitia mitandao ya teknolojia. Kwa hivyo Wakenya tunajiunga na wengine ulimwenguni ili kuweza kufanya mambo katika mtindo wa kisasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni dhahiri kuwa ulimwengu mzima sasa umekuwa kijiji kimoja, na vile umekuwa kijiji kimoja, pia sisi wa Kenya tunajiunga na wenzetu tuwe kijijini mle, ili tuweze kufanya shughuli zetu tukipitia dirisha hili la teknolojia, ili kuweza kuwa na mitindo ya kisasa. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable members, we will have to move on, and because of the House is not fully constituted for business, we will skip into the next order. And we will put the question on this one when it comes back in the order paper.
Order number 11, the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2021, second reading.
Leader of Majority.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2021, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, as we all know, disaster management in Kenya has always been a challenge and remains quite a challenge. Every so often, we faced by various disasters, some unpredictable, some unusual, some very unsettling, and some it's almost disasters we could have predicted but we didn't, or we could have acted on or prevented but we haven't. And the key question that lingers, or should keep lingering in our minds as we debate on this bill, is how have we in the past handled disasters? What lessons have we learned from those experiences, and what can we do with those lessons so that we can improve on our responses in the future? And that's basically the driving force behind this bill, to draw on the experiences, lessons that have been learned, and prepare more adequately for the future. Honorable Speaker, this bill then aims to achieve a couple of objectives. And the first one is to anchor within a legal framework the policies and structures for disaster risk management. The second key objective is to establish and equip certain institutions that will be responsible for handling and responding to disasters, to ensure that we have some effective and coordinated disaster preparedness, prevention, response, mitigation, and most importantly, how we recover from those disasters. And the third key objective of this bill is to enhance the resilience to the impacts of disaster risks and climate change, both at the national as well as the county levels. Honorable Speaker, against the merits of the foregoing objectives, then the major guiding principle for risk management under this bill then becomes the development and adoption of a comprehensive approach to disaster risk management, and the balancing between reduction of risk and the enhancement of community resilience, while ensuring that effective response and recovery capabilities. Now, as you are aware, we have in the past faced several disasters, and I said we faced terror attacks, starting from the U.S. Embassy attack some years back, and the Cooperative House. We've had national emergencies, we've had droughts, and in fact, I believe even right now, we're still having challenges of famine in some of our regions in the country. And there's different approaches being used to tackle those challenges. We're just about to receive the rains, and you can be sure there will be flooding in some of the areas, especially, and this has been witnessed in areas that are close to where you come from, Honorable Speaker. Last year we were visited, or is it last year but one, by several, bounds of locusts invading our country. And worst of all, we had the COVID-19 pandemic that has really grounded issues, not just in Kenya, but globally. And in all this, the regular issue that keeps coming up is that we need to have to act within a concerted framework, put our efforts together in dealing with these disasters and emergencies. And we, in terms of the lessons we've learned, is in about every report that has come as a result of the response, it's all shown some poor coordination among the various teams that have been brought to respond to disasters, leading to, obviously, loss of life and property that could have been saved if the coordination was improved. So, much as it's coming toward the tail end, we know this bill has been with us, obviously, since May of 2021, but at least it's found itself now into the House, and we do hope that we'll be able to process it in both two houses so that we can have a legal and elaborate framework for dealing with national disasters, because I think we got upon to do that. Talking of COVID, we know we've had to use the Public Order Management Act and the Public Health Act as the two main legal frameworks for responding to COVID-19 related challenges. But while these were there, and they helped in terms of the health-related challenge, an emergency, these two pieces of legislation cannot help us or were not passed in anticipation of the need to have this rather wider issue that tackles not just health-related disasters, but all other disasters. And we believe that with this bill, it will lay down the legal foundation, not just for what to do, but also the coordination and collaborative partnerships that will be needed so that we have all the various institutions involved in disaster working in concert. And again, this is both at the national and the county, because this will be disasters happen everywhere. The Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government, the Ministry of Devolution, and the National Treasury have all in the past, either jointly or individually or separately, formulated and co-published disaster management policies. But again, all this exists in the different policy papers, in regulations and all that. And this bill now attempts to bring all those together within a statute so that the methods and approaches for disaster management are now anchored in law. If I go to basically some of these policies, I think one of the policies which is already in place as a subsidiary legislation, our policy on disaster management, it recognizes that Kenya's economy and by extension its population can be classified as highly vulnerable to both natural and man-made disasters. And like I did mention, we are also prone to the vagaries of nature. If rains are delayed by even 1 week, there's famine everywhere. There's livestock dying everywhere. If rains come beyond a certain level, it's floods everywhere. And yet we don't have that comprehensive disaster management framework and to get out of these situations. Fortunately, we've also been lucky that we managed to manage, each of the disasters and have held well as a country despite the challenges we've had. Yet we've not had this kind of system, but for some reason we are also resilient and we've learned a few things. But I believe by now we will not just be relying on the international community, but on ourselves. So, getting closer in terms of the bill, firstly, we're creating an intergovernmental council which will comprise the various cabinet secretaries and the chair of the Council of Governors. It's a joint responsibility between the national and county government. And this council shall provide both the policy and implementation direction to cabinet on matters relating to disaster risk management, among other functions, including also coordination and monitoring of the intergovernmental multi-sectoral entities that are responsible for disaster risk management. And most importantly, it shall also be obligated to provide a report to cabinet, to the National Assembly, to the Senate, and to the county assemblies. The bill also establishes the National Disaster Risk Management Authority, which shall again be the implementing agency of the law, and all the preparedness, the mitigation, the recovery plans adopted or proposed by the Intergovernmental Council. And the bill itemizes the various functions, which is coordination and support of public awareness campaigns and the civic education programs on risk management, because again, most of the disaster could well be mitigated if people had all the information and the right level of awareness in terms of what they need to do to prevent and what they need to do when the disaster strikes. A second function will be the advisory, for advising and facilitation of the capacity building for disaster management at both the two levels of government. We also be charged with the responsibility for coordinating and collaborating with the relevant regional and international agencies and institutions in disaster risk management, and the promoting linkages with the key ministries, the community service organizations, international organizations, both county and sub-county and community-based disaster risk entities, among other functions. Honorable Speaker, then to my mind, the proposal to establish this centralized system of responding to and managing disasters is long overdue. And we know, like I mentioned, we've had several disasters. We've had lessons that we learned from history. And even there's been attempts, like I said, in terms of responses and bringing into law. I'm also aware that we have a bill, the National Disaster Management Authority Bill of 2019, that was sponsored by the member for Kikuyu constituency. I would have wished he was here so that he can also contribute to this, which was passed by this House and not too long ago, and is one of the bills that have been forwarded to the Senate. We hope it will come out of the Senate before we close. And I also know there are other attempts. So I want to urge members that, as we've done in the past, we recognized, we support this bill, and even improve on it further, since it's it's one of the steps we need to take to put forward to get a palatable solution to challenges of disaster management. Honorable Speaker, let me also recognize the efforts by the Committee on National Security. They've spent quite a bit of time on this bill and given us a report. And I do hope that members will read the reports and bring the amendments that are required, so that before we close, at least this House will have pronounced itself on where it stands on matters to do with disaster risk management. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, it's my pleasure to move beg to move and ask the Honorable Chair of the Committee on National Security and Administration, the Honorable Mwadi, to second.
Honorable Mwati.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this bill. And in seconding, Honorable Speaker, want to mention that this bill was first read in the House on Wednesday, 1st September 2021, and subsequently it was committed to our Committee on Administration and National Security, upon where we took the initiative under Article 118 of the Constitution and Standing Order 127(3) of this House to place advertisements in all media so that we could invite public participation for the same, and so that we could comply with the Constitution and also let the people of this nation know the contents and be part and parcel of doing or creating this law that is quite overdue, since we don't have a legal framework of engagement on issues of disaster risk management. Honorable Speaker, this bill seeks to establish the National Disaster Risk Management Authority and the County Disaster Risk Management Committees to provide for legal framework for coordination of disaster risk management activities and for other purposes. Honorable Speaker, the object, among others, is the provision of legislative framework for disaster management and to enhance effective and coordinated disaster preparedness, prevention, response, mitigation, and recovery. Just as alluded to the Leader of Majority, that has not been coordinated before, and therefore the need to have this legal framework so that those activities can be coordinated. Honorable Speaker, it further seeks to establish institutional framework on disaster risk management, which includes Intergovernmental Council on Disaster Risk Management at the apex, and of course cascading down to the counties, so that we have units that are also coordinating with that Intergovernmental Council on Disaster Risk Management at the apex. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the history of disaster in this country, we find that it was not viewed as an integral part of our planning, or so that those who are planning, Honorable Speaker, may have had an oversight over the need to properly plan, because disasters can strike any time. They have stricken before, they keep on striking, but for somehow we just used administrative procedures to address the issues that arise out of disaster. So, Honorable Speaker, let me cite two occasions, like one in 1999 to 2001, when there were severe droughts across the country, and which gave rise to various initiatives by the Kenya Food Security Meeting, which was formulated to address the issue of food security. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, it is important to note that Kenya preparedness, this country's preparedness in terms of response to disasters, has been challenged by lack of harmonized policy, legislation, and institutional framework, inadequate capacity, and reactive rather than proactive approach to disaster management. Honorable Speaker, the situation further is aggravated by the fact that there are various institutions dealing with disaster management and related activities in the names of ministries, departments, agencies, and some specialized SAGAs, that is semi-autonomous governmental agencies, as well as county government. Some of the agencies, Honorable Speaker, for the benefit of members, is like the National Disaster Management Unit, NDMU, dealing with the disaster on one side. Another is National Disaster Operations Center, also dealing with the disaster with different parameters of how it deals with disaster. The National Drought Management Authority, NDMA, dealing with disasters in certain counties. And all these efforts are not coordinated, Madam Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, it is very important to bring all this under one legal framework and policy that will be properly coordinated with agencies that coordinate, and not only coordinate, they also have interlinkages that are going to address the issues arising therein. Honorable Speaker, in considering the bill, the committee noted in the recent years the frequency and magnitude of disasters that develop from natural and man-made hazards has continued to arise. And currently, Honorable Speaker, we all know that we are experiencing a drought, which is part of what disaster that we have in this country, and which needs not a reactive approach, but a properly planned approach, which would be done by such a body as being created by this legislation. Honorable Speaker, the enactment of this law will immediately inform transformational change in the disaster risk management in the country through, among others, the following. One, harmonization of policy, legislative, and institutional frameworks. The fact that there will be only one national institution charged with the mandate of disaster risk management will create order and bring about concerted approaches towards disaster risk management. This will strengthen disaster risk.
Ili kupata mafuta kupanda kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 397 hash.
Nashukuru serikali kwa kuongeza bei ya mafuta. Sasa niko kwa highway na hakuna traffic hata kidogo. Naomba serikali iendelee hivyo, tubaki tu watu ya gasla na heavy machine peke yake. Pia mimi naomba huyu serikali waseme kama gari yako ni below 3000